Batter, Agriculture Research Officer at the Research and Extension Unit of FAO, and contributing to the TAP-AIS project together with many of our colleagues who are behind this side event, and as well as together with our country program managers from 9 countries that you will be hearing from. We are very thankful that your interest in our activities and joining us today. So this side event is organized by a TAPAIS project, which is implemented by FAO and funded by EU. And we have a lot of interesting presentations as well as discussions in this throughout this next 90 minutes. So without further ado, I would like to pass the floor to the Dr. Selvaraju Ramasamy, the head of Research and Extension Unit, for his introductory remarks. Selva, floor is yours.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Degi. Distinguished panelists and participants, on behalf of Tropical Agriculture Platform Secretariat and also FAO, I welcome you all to this important side event of the 8th TAP Partners Assembly. As you have seen the title, the side event is about Tropical Agriculture Platform Agricultural Innovation Systems project. And we will be specifically focusing on assessing capacity needs of key national organizations. The aim of the side event is to share the experiences and lessons of the TAP-AIS project, that is the abbreviation we use for this particular initiative. This project is, as already mentioned by Degi, is implemented by FAO in 9 countries with the support of European Commission. The project was initiated in August 2019, and this is ongoing now. And we are planning to complete this implementation by 2024. The project plays an instrumental role in catalyzing agricultural innovation system concept and also upscaling it, looking at the systems approach at the country level through various activities involving multiple organizations, both at the decentralized as well as at the national level. That includes agricultural research, agricultural extension, farmers organizations, etc., including the policy and enabling environment. This also acts as a neutral mechanism to engage and bring together various actors in the entire food value chain at country level, including public and private sector, which sometimes is main bottleneck to for the innovation processes, as you all aware. This particular side event is the 3rd such event of the output 2 of the project, especially to share the experiences from these 9 countries. This provides an important opportunity to exchange experiences among the countries, as well as cross-learn and share experiences that can be further upscaled in a specific country. As you know that there is an issue with respect to understanding of agricultural innovation systems at the country level. This is a big weakness or a gap, that there is a weakness in the mechanism to bring together various organizations to one place to co-create knowledge and also make sure that this knowledge is useful for the beneficiaries. Very weak linkages among the different players is also an issue that extend a situation that they operate in silos, that includes development partners on the ground to national AIS actors. There is very limited incentive mechanisms and instruments in place to facilitate this collaboration and co-creation, and also multi-actor partnerships and related processes towards innovation. Most importantly, the capacity development or capacity of these actors, the functional capacities, the way they can collaborate for co-creation of knowledge is the biggest aspect that this particular project is focusing on in all the 9 countries. With this background, this side event has 3 major objectives, as you must have already seen in the brochure. The first one is to facilitate mutual learning and networking across country teams. The second is to raise awareness on tropical agriculture platform partners about country-level activities. And also, the third is to explore opportunities for the tropical agriculture platform partners to support country-level activities. This initiative also provides an opportunity to link national, regional, and global actors together by sharing these experiences. And this can also lead to new collaboration and partnership among the TAP partners. They can join together to strengthen the national agricultural innovation systems. Therefore, we invite all our tropical agriculture platform partners to actively contribute to the discussions in the groups as well as in the plenary. We hope that this event will be useful for the TAP partner organizations at the country level, and also to achieve the common goal of strengthening the agricultural innovation systems in a much broader perspective. Thank you. Over to you, Degi.
Degi, you're muted.
Thank you, Selva, for this very comprehensive introduction. Following this introduction, me and my colleague Manuela would like to walk you through a quick overview of the project to show you very quickly what this the project is about. So, Cristiano, if you let me share my screen. Thank you. I'm just going to share a screen with a presentation, and if someone can confirm, you can see the slide in slideshow mode.
Yes.
Okay, great. As Selvaraju said, the project is called Developing Capacities in Agriculture Innovation Systems, and through scaling up Tropical Agriculture Platform Framework. So this project is funded by and part of overall DESIRA initiative of European Union, and the total funding for the project is 5 million, and it is from 2009. It began in 2019 and will end 2024. So particular goal of this project is to strengthen capacity to innovate in through strengthening the national agriculture innovation systems. The project has 4 outputs, and this webinar focuses on output 2, which is country level activities. But however, we would like to give you a quick sneak peek of other outputs, just so you know, you have broader picture. Before moving to the outputs, very quickly, the tropical agriculture platform and its common framework, which has been promoted through this project, is all about strengthening capacity to innovate through functional capacity development. We focus on 4 capacities listed here: capacity to navigate complexity, capacity to collaborate, capacity for reflection and learning, and capacity to engage in a strategic and political process. Overall, contribute to the capacity to realize innovation. TAP is a G20 initiative established in 2012 to support the capacity development in countries in tropics. And it developed a common framework for this concept, and as well as many operational tools and toolkits that can be used at the country level or practitioners who's working in this area. So my colleagues are also providing some very useful links that you can also explore more on the capacity development framework and tap its own activities in your own leisurely time. If I can move. So that output one of the project focuses on TAP governance and support to its secretariat, which involves the meetings organized by the secretariat and the TAP partner assemblies. So many of you have been a part of partner assembly activities throughout this week. It's been a really busy and very exciting week, and a lot of information and learning. And also it has a knowledge component of updating TAP common framework and review, as well as making it digitally available. It's also advocacy, political support, and high-level mechanisms. The TAP Secretary is very busy, engaged in many events at the global level, regional level, and here are some listed. And finally, the project management, internal monitoring, evaluation, and learning. And output, I'm skipping output 2 because later we will focus on that output, and output 3 has a regional focus. Through this output, we work with the regional research and extension organizations to scale TAP tools and approaches by integrating them into regional organizations and their action plan and their activities in Africa, Asia, as well as Latin America. So far, we have completed the joint rapid appraisal in 3 regions on strengthening agriculture innovation systems, focusing on functional capacities. This study was done together with the NRI as well as regional organizations, as mentioned, to look at the broader landscape of this notion of strengthening agriculture innovation system and capacity development. What's happening in these 3 regions and how they're doing it. And based on this appraisal, regional organizations have developed a joint action plan. We very much work jointly between research and extension organizations, and it's an important part of our work. So here are some list of activities we are also carrying out in different regions, including training of trainers, which is concluded both Asia and Latin America quite recently, and we are planning one in Africa. And then technical support, regular backstopping, and advocacy webinars and joint publications, as well as multi-stakeholder meetings, including one we organized in September in Africa with other DESIRA partners. Output 4 of this project focuses on knowledge management and communication. Here you will see a number of activities that's been done in terms of products, knowledge products, brochures, flyers, fact sheets, development of new tools, videos, and as well as many social media outreach activities that's been done through TAP Secretariat. And here, again, my colleagues will be putting the link to Tapapedia and the various channels that you can have access to those information, and as well as following, if you like, follow us on social media as well. So now it brings us to the output 2, which is the main core of this side event, this meeting. And I'd like to hand it over to my colleague Manuela to walk us through the output activities. Manu?
Thank you very much, Deggy. Hello everybody, my name is Manuela Bucciarelli, and I'm also working in the Research and Extension Unit of FAO. So I like to briefly introduce you the activity at country level, output 2, which will be the focus of today's webinar. Here are the countries, the 9 countries that are targeted by this project. So starting from west to east, we have Colombia in Latin America, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Rwanda, Malawi, and Eritrea in Africa, and Pakistan, Cambodia, and Laos in Asia. Next, please. Countries have all started implementation, but we have a phased approach. So some countries are still in the inception phase. For example, Pakistan have just started the country project team and is preparing for the inception workshop. Some other countries are in the final stage of the assessment phase. So Rwanda has just completed. Malawi as well has just completed. It's moving to the capacity development phase. And we have several countries that are in the central phases, in the capacity development phase of the organizational level, as well as the policy level. For example, Burkina, Senegal, and Laos and Cambodia are currently at the policy level work. They have just organized policy dialogue trainings. Next, please. So just a few achievements that we would like to highlight, but you will hear more during the presentations and the group discussion. So all the teams, all the countries have set up project teams. National Agriculture Innovation System assessment have been completed in Cambodia, Laos, Eritrea, Burkina Faso, Malawi, Senegal, Rwanda, and Colombia. And organizational capacities assessments are completed or ongoing in 9 countries: Cambodia, Laos, Eritrea, Burkina Faso, Malawi, Senegal. And in some countries, we already moved to some interventions. You can see the country here: Laos, Cambodia, Eritrea, Burkina Faso, Malawi, and Senegal. In 2 countries, as I mentioned, we have started the national policy dialogue. In Laos PDR and Cambodia. In Cambodia, we had the first event on the 16th of October during World Food Day. And in Laos, we just completed training in November. So for a total of 13 trainings and 3 webinars to facilitate cross-country learning. This is the 3rd webinar we are organizing to share experiences from the countries. Next, please. That's it. These are some images from the most recent activities. Thank you for your attention, and please follow our channels that my colleagues are posting on the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuela. And we will take questions later, but now let us move to the next agenda item, which is presentations by countries on 3 different topics. Cristiano, if you want to share. And there will be 3 different topics will be presented. One of the countries, Burkina Faso, I believe, will be focusing on AIS assessment and systems capacity. And most of these 9 countries have completed the comprehensive AIS assessment. And so it will be a sneak peek of this process by Burkina Faso. And many of the countries have gone through the capacity development phase, including capacity needs assessment, as well as development of capacity development interventions. So Eritrea will show us how this is done in Eritrea. And the Laos and Cambodia will show us how they are started on policy dialogue process. And this session will be facilitated by Anila Rahim, our country project manager in Pakistan. Anila, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dagi. Good evening and welcome again. Now, as Dagi mentioned, that this session will comprise of 3 presentations. So let me introduce you to the speakers of this session along with their topics. The first presentation will be given by Mr. Aristide Sempor from Burkina Faso, and he'll be covering the AIS assessment. Followed by him will be Mr. Sayan Team, and he will be sharing the experience of the organizational capacity development in Eritrea. And then the third presentation will be a joint presentation by Mr. Banthol from Cambodia and Ms. Wantram on policy dialogue process. So now I will request Mr. Aristide Sampor to start his presentation.
Thank you, Alina. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aristide Sampor, Country Project Manager for Burkina Faso. It's a real pleasure for me to present to you in a few minutes a part of the summary result of the National Agricultural Innovation System Assessment of Burkina Faso based on systemic capacities. I will share my screen. Okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay.
Bouton vert.
Can you see my screen?
Yet.
No, not yet.
No, it's not yet.
Not yet.
Mm.
Okay. Already, can you share my my presentation?
Yes, sure. But I think it's coming now. Maybe it's slow, but okay, I can do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better now, I think. Yeah, it's visible to everyone.
Please,
I think.
Aristide, go ahead. I will take care of the slides. Aristide, are you still with us?
Oh.
Yeah, there is a lot of
Mm-hmm.
problems in Burkina Faso at the moment.
Aristide, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Please, Aristide, you can start. The slides are shared. So you can start speaking. We are listening to you.
I think he can't hear us. Maybe there is some.
Yes, the current situation in Burkina Faso is quite deteriorated, and there are a lot of internet cut off. So, shall I?
Yeah, Orly, why
Aristide?
don't you start and then maybe he can pick up.
Should we move to the next one from Eritrea till the time his connection restores?
It's an option.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, I think if Sayam is listening, so he should start with his presentation. Hello.
Hello, I'm hearing.
Oh, great. Great, Sayam. So, okay, please go ahead with your presentation on the organizational capacity development. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Manila. I hope my presentation will be shared by Manuela from that side. Is that Manila?
Yes, give me a second, sorry.
Okay.
Coming. Can you see?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. I am Siyum from Eritrea, a country project manager for this project. To save time, let's continue to the next slide, Manuela. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. In the agricultural innovation system assessment initially conducted, we did this assessment on functional analysis, structural capacity, and the enabling environment. To start with the function, the assessment result finds different technologies generated by the National Agricultural Research Institute, Malawi Agricultural College, and National Animal Plant and Health Laboratory. It's a total of over 160 so far developed. The finding also indicates that interaction among the organization is loose, lack of coordination. This results in a duplication of activities and kind of wastage of resources. The technology mainly disseminated to beneficiaries but for farmers, by Agricultural Extension Department was of the Ministry of Agriculture, NARI, Malawi Agricultural College, and Ministry of Local Government. All of them are participated in this dissemination. In the structural analysis, several actors are involved in the agricultural innovation coming from different organizations. In the process, there is no national platform in the country to manage the interaction between actors, and their role is not clearly set. That's a kind of a problem. In the capacity analysis, the linkage between research, extension, and farmer is weak and linear directly by research. No or limited farmers and extension workers involvement in technology design, processing, setting research priorities. Most of the researchers in NARI are very young with low research experience, shortage of transport and budget, including for outreach activities, shortage of improved shade, shortage of equipment and chemicals for laboratory work. Huge staff turnover was observed in the assessment. Next slide. In the enabling environment, has a policy, the country has a policy in agricultural development, research, but has no policy in agricultural innovation. So far, about 26 policies, proclamations, standards, and legal notes have been drafted and submitted to the Ministry of Justice for approval, but they are pending and not enacted. Okay, next slide, please. After this assessment, we are almost finalized the capacity development of key organizational strengthening. For this purpose, we are assessing 5 organizations as National Agricultural Research Institute, Agricultural Extension Department, Regulatory Service Department, National and Animal and Plant Health Laboratory. This is part of the research providers, technology providers, and 1 beneficiaries, mostly beneficiaries, Market Region Beekeepers Association. Why is this organization selected? Because of their mandate, involvement in generation, dissemination, and at some time the Beekeepers Association are the most beneficiaries. Existing key roles, they have a very good roles in agricultural innovation. The ability to play in supporting innovation service are the major cases why select this organization. Why they should be strengthened. The idea is to improve, to organize, to deliver, and to relate with other innovation support service providers. The other one is make innovation happen by fostering interaction and constructing knowledge. The other is entry point to join involvement in the providers and beneficiaries is the production of service through regular interaction. In addition to help organizations to determine the gaps that are preventing them from reaching their desire to generate, disseminate, and utilize technologies. And the final but not least is develop visions and approach sustainability Okay, strengthening as local and national levels. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we'll be moving to the next presentation. So I will request Bantal.
We have not finished.
Okay, sorry.
No, okay. With this capacity assessment, we have findings. It's not the final one, but in summary, the assessment findings indicate that third-quarter and national organs are not aligned. Some structural problems are observed. Overlapping and conflicting responsibilities are one of them. Lack of joint decision-making, joint monitoring and evaluation, joint reflection and learning, or need to be improved. This is a kind of a problem in the assessment. Shortage of expert was a major issue. Limitation of qualified research staff, part of the human resource. Shortage of facilities, including transport to outreach services. Shortage of training opportunities, especially at lower levels for experts, long and short term, including limited financial resources, one of the major issues. Thank you, Smalila. Absence of different manuals observed, like guidelines for proposal writing. They are using different formats for depending on the experts. Lack of leadership toward promoting innovations was observed. Knowledge management is weak or not institutionalized, or in some places not experienced. The major one is no platform among the stakeholders are not working together, no coordination among the regulatory line ministries, working independently, like Salvarajo said, in silo. Shortage of lab equipment and accessories, including essential chemicals for research. Inadequate supply of beekeeping accessories, with one of the assessed organizations was beekeeping associations, and no national beekeeping placement procedures, limited market channel, limited access to financial law, high cost of modern equipment and accessories for beekeepers was observed. This is not the final one, but major issues are here. But and based on that, we are planning for not final ones. This one is also the tentative one. We are planning to work at 3 levels: at enabling environment, organizational, and individual levels. We have to think that we are thinking that we can have an entry point from any of the areas, but we can zoom in or zoom out. The linkage between research extension farm areas is weak. We are trying to work on that. Work to improve the poor linkage between agriculture innovation actors is starting point. We are planning to work in a very selected areas for innovation as a pilot. In the assessment process, there was no active innovation platform. Based on that, we're planning to establish a platform as a model. Organize some form of training in different areas, like harnessing the available soft skills, organize different monitoring, coaching, and evaluation programs, organize events that boost personal skills of the available to improve the team spirit, develop guidelines, different guidelines, providing training on proposal writing, provide different training, knowledge sharing management, resource mobilization strategy, and to organize training or resource mobilization is one of the plan. If possible, we are planning to review some organizational structural issues, provide training or management for leadership is one of the options. Explore options to maximize training opportunities lower level. Then we're planning to develop a realistic training plan in each of the organizations. Next slide. Okay, based on this capacity development action plan, we are requesting the participants to support us in the following, not the whole list, but those mention some of them, especially in agricultural research institutes, the experts with no PhD, very few master's degree, and more young staff for base holders. And we are requesting you guys to support us to send some stuff to MS and PhD programs. Financial resources is one of the problems in all organizations. Report need to support organizations in developing competitive technical proposals to mobilize resource, because resource is one of the problems. Link each organization with relevant sub-regional, regional, and international organizations for different support, like training, financial, and material support is one of our requests. From both the assessments, there is no platform in the innovation actors, therefore need to establish this platform as a pilot with a major commodity value chains as an entry point established for establishment in technical and budget support is very much essential. I think saying this is my final slide. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sayom. I think Aristide is back, so now he will give his presentation on the AIS assessment in Burkina Faso. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Alina. Thank you, Alina. I'm apology for this technical error.
It's okay.
I'm present the summary result of technical of National Agricultural Innovation System assessment based of systemic capacities for agricultural innovation are the capacities of a set of policy and institutional decision makers from the public and private sectors to work together to create an enabling environment for agricultural innovation. There are 6 capacity areas. The first is the capacity to create a vision. The second is the capacity to formulate policies. The third is the capacity for inclusion. The fourth is the capacity to support innovative initiatives. The fifth is a networking capacity. And the sixth is the marketing capacity. Next. The methodological approach was to collecting the opinions online for 49 experts in policy and strategy formulation on, firstly, on influential organization in each capacity area, and secondly, on the performance of each capacity area on a scale of 0 to 5. Next. So, this example in the 2 graphs on vision capacity and policy capacity show that systemic capacities are concentrated in a small number of organizations. There are mainly a few departments in the Ministry of Agriculture and Research. The next. Also, the assessment shows that systemic capacities are relatively weak. This weakness is a linkage to thirdly, to a lack of knowledge adapt to the challenge of supporting agricultural innovation, and secondly, to a lack of opportunities to apply existing knowledge. Next. From these results, the actors who participate in the validation workshop propose priorities action to strengthen mainly the political capacities and those relative to the support services. And so the next. TAP-AIS Burkina Faso will strengthen the capacities of the 4 organizations that provide innovation support services in the sector of food processing and marketing and innovative entrepreneurship. Their action plans have been co-constructed, and global action will essentially help firstly at the better coordination of support services, and secondly to make an advocacy for better funding of agricultural innovation. An example, the action proposed for ANVA is which is the National Agency for the Promotion of Research Results. The action plan proposed aims at its institutional empowerment and the improvement of its managerial leadership. And then the next, for the implementation of these action plans, we will have the support of TAP members in terms of specific expertise and other support. So thank you. I had and the time of my presentation, and thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Aristide. Now I will hand over the next presentation to Mr. Banthal from Cambodia and Ms. Wan from Laos. They will be presenting the policy dialogue process. Over to you, Ban.
Yes. Greeting to all again. My name is Wan Thalom, a project manager for TAP-AIS in Laos. It's my great pleasure to have a chance to share the experience from Laos with you all on the, how we engage in the policy dialogue process in Laos. But before doing that, I would like to invite you all to revisit the diagram and definition of the AIS together. By definition, the AIS is a network of actors, individual, organization, and enterprise together with supporting institutions and policies in the agriculture and related sectors that bring existing or new products, processes, and forms of organization into social and economic use. Policy and institution, formal and informal, shapes the way that these actors interact, generate, share, and use knowledge as well as jointly learned. As you can see from this figure depicting the AIS and definition of AIS, policies are both an integral part of the AIS and also a key outside force influencing the AIS. Thus, engaging at the policy level is a key realizing the potential of agriculture innovation. Next. So here is the policy process dialogue in Laos. Following the AIS assessment, we identify the 4 major policy relevant issues that need to be addressed in order to enable agriculture innovation. The 4 are low multi-stakeholder collaboration, low involvement of the private sector, especially in agriculture, research and development, and even in extension. Limited market orientation and agribusiness skills. Also a need to involve women and youth. The assessment also identify already existing platforms in the Ministry of the Agriculture and Forestry. The two groups Sector Working Group for Agriculture and Rural Development, and its subsector working group. These two platforms will work with the FAO, facilitate the policy dialogue process and beyond the project. Yep, next please. Our first policy dialogue event was held at the celebration of the World Food Day last month on the 25th. The objective was to increase shared understanding and agriculture innovation system in Laos PDR among the policy makers and identify opportunity to strengthen innovation process through policy development. The issue of the multi-stakeholder coordination was highlighted in the discussion. This policy dialogue also serves the purpose of determining a way forward for the TAP-AIS project policy dialogue series, which will continue with several more policy dialogue events next year. The next step would be that key members of the sector working group on agriculture and rural development will undergo training to develop their capacity to create a vision for policy change and realize this through policy communication and action. Thank you. And over to Woon.
Yes, thank you, Anila. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and key TAP partners and TAP partner in country level. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to join in this important webinar side event. Before we jump to my presentation, my presentation is very short, just to brief about the achievement during the capacity development phase in organization and capacity development phase in policy level. And first of all, I would like to share with you that the AI assessment for Cambodia made 3 main policy recommendations to be further examined and incorporated into the policy dialogue process. This is one is tax exceptions for imported agricultural input, and second one is rural credit with low interest rate. And the third one, also very important, that government or top policy makers should be take consideration. This is the update the national expansion policy. With the third recommendation for AI assessment finding in Cambodia, I would like to mention that you see that agricultural extension is an important strategy to promote the development of the agricultural sector in Cambodia through educating, training, and transferring new technologies and innovation to farmers and their community. To those will get the increase in agricultural productivity and production value chain process, diversification and commercialization of agriculture following the review of implementation policy. And for the extension policy, the Department of Extension already developed it from the 2015, and now according to the result and outcome of the review of the extension policy implementation, I think the result of the implementation of the extension policy is not reached to the goal and objective. Just right now is the Department of Extension is being updated the extension policy, and soon this updated national extension policy will be launched soon. Yes, and another point is the Interministerial Conservation, Agriculture, and Sustainable Intensification Consortium it can say that CASIC was identified as a key institutional in the AIS to be trained and lead the policy dialogue process in Cambodia with support from FAO. Thus, a major focus is promotion of conservation, agriculture, and sustainable education. This platform is a government body, and the platform is designed for coordinated as the for conservation agriculture and for under subordinate of the Ministry of Agriculture in Cambodia. Yes, please. Next slide, please. Regarding to the policy dialogue process in Cambodia, the policy dialogue training with CASIC was conducted on the 11, 12, and 16 November. And the aim of this training was to boost policymaker capacity to analyze existing policy, to develop vision for policy change, collaboratively act as influence policy. Through policy dialogue event, policy brief writing, and ensure implementation of policy. The participants determined a number of key policy obstacles in Cambodia and developed a vision and roadmap for policy changes. And the policy relevant issue is limited collaboration, especially with private sector, and the way forward, the proposal to initiate a multi-stakeholder platform to address the issue. Yes. During the discussion, during the training, the discussion also agreed that it's very important that we should be review and create the multi-stakeholder platform at subnational and national level. Is to make sure that the supply side and demand side can gathering together to sit down and get some information and address some issue from the demand side. This is very important that we need to develop the multi-stakeholder platform between demand side and supply side. And the policy relevant issue, another relevant issue is low access to technologies for conservation agriculture, especially machinery, because the cost of the machinery for doing the conservation agriculture is very expensive, and we very sure to see the local private sector to develop and in the local. That's right. It's the main problem for the challenge for the conservation agriculture in Cambodia is the machinery. And way forward is issue to be addressed further in policy dialogue event. And this will bring to the policy dialogue event is tax exceptions as one potential to be discussed during the policy dialogue event as well. And next step, we already planned the CASIC will organize 2 provincial policy dialogue event and 2 or 3 at national level. Yes, this very important. And what the expectation from the policy dialogue outcome is that at least during the end of project next year, the draft of policy brief and action plan, and second one, policy brief and action plan will be introduced and disseminated to all potential stakeholder organizations, especially to the top policy maker, Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fishery. And the last one of outcome is or policy brief will integrate it into current CASIC roadmap and or make amendment if necessary. This is what the CASIC expectation from the policy dialogue. Yes, very important for this brief For the policy dialogue is policy brief can spread it deeply to all key stakeholders, especially to the top policy maker to be considering and take action. This what a classic expectation from the policy dialogue process. Okay. This is my brief presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Bun and Juan, for the very elaborate presentations. Now I will open the floor for if there are any questions. So, to the presenters.
Aiden, you may stop sharing. Thanks.
Yeah. So,
Questions you can write in the chat or just raise your hand to ask questions. If there is no question, we can move forward.
yeah, apparently seems there are no questions. So now we will move to the next section of this side event, which is the group work. And we will split into 3 groups. Each group will have 3 countries in it. And basically, they will be presenting their challenges with regards to the capacity development and the 3 different levels of the entire project. So group 1 comprises of Rwanda, Senegal, and Burkina Faso. The second group will cover Malawi, Colombia, and Eritrea. And in the third Southern Asia group, Pakistan, Cambodia, and Laos will give their presentations. So from here on, we will split into groups. And once the group presentations are done, so again, we will be all the participants will come together for a 25-minute discussion by using the ideas board. So now we are moving into the groups.
So you may choose the rooms that you wish to join, the countries of your interest. Go to the breakout room icon in your bottom bar and choose one of the 3 rooms that's in front of you now. Group 1 is Senegal, Burkina Faso, and Rwanda. If you're interested in those countries, go to Group 1. Group 2, Malawi, Eritrea, and Colombia. So those interested in Malawi, Eritrea, and Colombia, please join Group 2. And those 3 countries from Asia, Cambodia, Laos, BDR, and Pakistan, then please join Group 3. Okay, so please self-select the groups that you would like to join, and going to the breakout room icon. You go to the breakout room icon and then you scroll down to find different rooms that's available for you.
Okay.
We haven't
Sorry.
finished.
We had just started to discuss.
So maybe just Nirvana, you can pick up the discussion in a broader plenary. Just to say participants that my colleague Nirvana Alexandrova, the Agriculture Extension Officer at Research and Extension Unit, will be facilitating the plenary discussion. I had hoped that we will have some inputs to the plenary discussion in the groups, but we were a bit behind time and did not manage, at least the group in Asia did not manage to put any inputs in the idea board.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we need.
I don't know how other groups did.
No, we were just starting the discussion, so.
Yes, same for us.
Okay, well, we'll continue plenary.
Nirvana, you take it.
Hey, thank you very much, Degi. I would like to invite the group facilitators to just share a very brief highlight about two particular questions. One of the questions is to what capacities you found in the presentations that are really a priority, and they were similar in different countries that you had in your region or sub-region. And do you think, and the second question would be about the way forward, how you could possibly close the gap between the missing capacities, and what will be the tools and the instruments for ensure sustainability of those capacities? Would you look at the partnerships with whom, or you would explore other possibilities? So this is also an open question. I will first invite the group facilitators to share their impressions, their highlights, but this is an open question to all of the audience to advise. Thank you. And I would like to invite first the facilitator of the first group for West Africa, please.
Yeah, thank you, Nabila, for your giving me the floor. I think my idea, through my observation, I think the capacity for each country, challenges capacity development for each country is about the coordination capacity, how to make the good coordination, because like many countries, also like Cambodia, is we need to find the capacity to engage or key actor to sit down together and share information on new technology. This is very important. Or we call that what is a good mechanism for coordination mechanism, because at the moment is we never find the government coordination body. Government body is lead coordination for the agriculture innovation. Very important for the coordination. We have a lot of capacity for technical capacity, but the capacity to coordinate or collaboration is still insufficient. This very is my observation for many countries. I think this is my observation. I think maybe some country can add into your question, I think.
May I ask, do you have yourself an answer to the question, what needs to be done to merge this gap about the capacity, about coordination? What will be the solution from your personal perspective or your organizational perspective, but also taking into account this is a common gap, is the a regional approach possible? What do you think?
I think the government, this is the top policy maker should be considered about this. And they still have not enough regulation or instrument policy to encourage for all key actors develop the platform. This is a problem that we need to address with the top policy maker to consider about this and make the top policy maker to how we can engage the top policy maker to understand about this one. It's very important that in Cambodia, especially in Cambodia, is now we try to provide the key message, policy message from past experience and to the top policy maker, especially to the Minister of Agriculture, to understand that how we can develop the government coordination body to solve the problem. Because if we can develop the government coordination body for key actor for AIS system, I think this will solve the problem. But we already have in the policy, but the implementation is not yet started. The policy for Ministry of Agriculture already started, mentioned that, but the implementation is not yet started. Yes, these are all my
Thank you for giving the perspective of the Asian group. Do we have the Western Africa group? Somebody?
Okay, thank you. In the group 1, West African group, these are essentially technical capacities, functional capacities. Countries need support in terms of skills, knowledge building at agricultural advisor level linkage to research. So thank you.
Thank you. Would you have an idea how to merge this gap? What strategies would you apply? Partnerships or policies, or any thoughts about it?
Some strategies are to develop action plan to strengthen the research structure and advisor
Thank you. We hear you well. In this case, I would like to pass to the second group, actually, Latin American, the facilitator, please. You have the floor.
You from our group?
Latin America or Africa?
No, the entire group.
Africa and Latin. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yes, including Latin America.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Colombia, colleague from Colombia. Okay, we have a very good discussion. No, a very good presentation, but the discussion was not getting enough time. The issues raised among the countries first coordination among the organization is very much essential and core. Soft skill training is very important. AS assessment is at a very critical stage. No, in some areas there is no policy. I think in Malawi they have a policy in agriculture innovation, but in other countries are not. There is one of the points we raised was this possible synergy on the honey value chain. National platform is not available in all the countries except one. I think they have one platform. I think this platform is very much essential to the discussion point. After the presentation, we had not enough time to discuss. Just as initial stage of the discussion, the time was up and we break out again to come to the big group. Maybe colleagues from the team can add on top of my. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you share any thoughts about how to merge these gaps related to the missing capacities? Any sustainable approaches that you can think of?
Actually, we have to think. We didn't discuss on the group, but we have to do something to the sustainability issue. Otherwise, we'll be back to square one.
Thank you. So based on the discussions and the group discussions and the highlights that were brought to the plenary, what I heard from you saying is that sustainability approach would be key. They're quite missing capacities. All of them that you mentioned, the three groups relate to the functional capacities. Some mentioned governance coordination, also coordination and cooperation along the value chains. Soft skills were also mentioned. What definitely needs to action to be taken is to further develop and implement the capacity development action plan. As I understand, this is what I heard from you as well, saying, and the three facilitators. Also to be open and to look for partners who could help in building those skills in your organizations, and also at the AIS system level. I heard some of you saying government and the governmental policies play a key role in providing the incentives also for partnerships and for building further the skills and developing capacities. So this is certainly also something that plays a role. And I also see in the chat, discussion has started. Different countries or organizations are sharing their experiences. I advise you to have a look at what has been said. We also invite TAP partners and other partners from, for instance, European countries or other more developed organizations to take note about the missing needs and continue to engage the countries present here and also others in developing world in their programs. Thank you very much. And Degi, I would pass the floor to you.
Yeah, we are just waiting for Selva to rejoin, but I would like to sort of open the discussion to the plenary, the participants. And if you dear participants, I see a lot of people who has a lot of experience in these areas and more systems approach. If you have some inputs to make, and also these questions, very critical questions that Nevena was asking the facilitators. No, if you have any thoughts to contribute to this questions, feel free to share. And then also you have here 9 countries, what they are trying to achieve at the country level. And if you have, if you relate to any of these activities, if your organization is doing something similar in those countries or in those regions, we would like to take this opportunity to hear from you as well. So please let us spend just a little bit more time to hear from you and what you're doing on this and how we can also find synergies with you. Anyone who would like to take a floor, I suggest just unmute and start speaking. Otherwise, you can also raise your hand. Nobody is interested in sharing their experiences? Or did any of the presentations from the countries strike you or brought any excitement or concerns to you? Julia, meantime, can you let Selva know we are very close to closing?
In the meantime, I posted on the whiteboard in case some people would like to contribute. We are still receiving some sticky notes.
Okay. Yeah, Krishan, thanks for raising your hand and breaking the ice.
All right, thanks. Now, just wanted to share just an observation we had in the following the presentations, and we were discussing in our group, is that while the analysis process, helps us identify the organizations and then the capacity needs or what they would like to specifically build on, what sometimes we tend to miss out is, so who is the one institution that has a role to bring all these capacities together and to tap into all these at the country level? And the answer from Eritrea was that yes, the ownership is from the ministry. And I thought perhaps we should also not forget to say that while we are implementing this whole project, there is an institution that is behind the scenes, which is the ministry, which is coordinating, but it is so obvious to us that we don't see it. And it's good to mention that there is also a process of capacity development in terms of ownership of the process. And I think maybe that applies in all the countries, but we forget to put it in the report that while doing all these things with these organizations, that the ministry itself is also gaining through that ownership of the process. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And Carlos, Juan Carlos?
Yes, I just want to say something about that. So we think in Colombia, we think that the best shape for design rural innovation policy, in this case with agricultural innovation policy studies, is bottom up, from territory to national level, from local to regional to national level. In that case, we address it on a territorial innovation system perspective too, which linked local, regional, which are linked local, regional, and national, even international actors. But the main goal, we think, with this innovation system study approach is to design specific plans and specific in rural innovation policies, instruments, or recommendations to specific territories in order to strengthen capabilities from bottom-up approach. It's the main goal for this project with FAO, we think.
Very good. Thank you, Juan Carlos, for that intervention. Does anyone else? Osman? Osman, if you would like to make an intervention, please unmute. Maybe it was accidentally he raised his hand. If there is no other interventions, I would like to pass the floor to Selvaraju for his summary remarks and way forward. Selva, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Degi. First of all, I would like to thank all the panelists and participants for your active participation in this webinar of the Tropical Agriculture Platform Partners Assembly. Of course, during this week and also especially today, we heard so much on assessment and capacity development of agricultural innovation systems, multi-stakeholder innovation platforms, policy dialogue processes, etc. These are all some of the keywords that we often heard from the panelists as well as the participants. To achieve all this, we need to understand and navigate through the institutional landscapes at the national level. It is not very easy, doing an assessment of agricultural innovation systems. It's a huge, and it depends on the countries. In some cases, it may be at the national level. Some cases, it may be at the decentralized. And many agencies, public sector, private sector, non-governmental organizations, etc. So there are many. It's not very easy. Navigating through the institutional landscape at the national level is a very complex process. This context, I'm not here to summarize what we talked about, but just I want to leave 4 questions to all the participants here. And you can draw the answers from this webinar, and you can also be pointed to the resources available within the TAP Secretariat, as well as the Research and Extension Unit of FAO. The first question is how to conduct an assessment of agricultural innovation systems to better understand their current gaps and the future needs based on what they have now and how their mandate and functions are evolving in the context of addressing the new challenges. What tools and methods are available? You can find the guidelines, training manuals, and also policy briefs through our resource portals. We have a Tropical Agriculture Platform Resource Portal, and we have a Research and Extension website, as well as Tapipedia. It's a Tropical Agriculture Platforms outreach arm that has more than 3,500 resources collected from various partners. So that is the first question. The second one is, what are the key capacity needs that have to be addressed to strengthen the institutional collaboration? We all talk about the system approach, how various subsystems and systems can come together for a common cause to identify a proper solution that can be taken up by the beneficiaries. Of course, in that context, everybody part of this network are the beneficiaries. So what type of functional capacities are needed to be strengthened? Capacity to collaborate. There are many other things, capacity to learn from each other, and how often and how best this collaboration can be stronger, and what is the purpose, etc. So what type of functional capacities need to be addressed or need to be strengthened? That is the second question. The third one is, what are the feasible mechanisms? We talk about multi-stakeholder innovation platforms. We talk about multi-stakeholder mechanisms at the national level, or at the regional level, or at the local level. So what are the feasible mechanisms? Is it only in the paper? And how this can be institutionalized, and how this can be sustainable, that can promote and bring various institutions and actors for co-creating innovations, and also to promote upscaling of these innovations and technologies. So what are feasible multi-stakeholder mechanisms, and what platforms we are talking about? Are they sustainable? And this is completely new type of institutional mechanisms, and where this should be hosted. Which type of institution has a leverage, better leverage to bring in various actors and to discuss, or is there something exist already, or they are what is the level of functioning? Are they efficient? If not, what need to be done? So these are all this is my third question. The fourth one is, how can these assessments and capacity development activities can help influence the national policy processes? We talked about policy dialogue. You know, very often, all these 9 countries, we heard policy dialogue every time. So how these assessments, capacity development activities can help influence the national policy processes? Are they really helping? Are they really contributing to this? You know, we talk about the science policy interface for very, very long time. So to what extent this is feasible? So how this can influence the national policy processes that provide an enabling environment that can address all these 3 questions to bring the institutions together for development and sharing of knowledge and innovation, and to what extent this is the policy environment or enabling environment can provide opportunities for investment, opportunities for upscaling for the benefit of the much broader smallholder farmers. TAP-AIS initiative implemented by FAO and supported by European Commission tries to address all these above questions in 4 years period. Of course, it's only in 9 countries, and we hope that everything what we talked about is achievable if we enter through the right entry point at the national level. So please visit our TAP-AIS website for all resources, whatever I mentioned now with the questions, including guidelines, country reports, country profiles, training manuals, etc. So thank you, and over to you, Deg.
Thank you very much, Selva, for that thought-provoking questions. So something to think about following these events. And I would like to close the event by thanking especially our country program managers from our 9 countries. You guys did an amazing job of presenting what's being done in your countries. So thank you very much. And also our colleagues at the Research and Extension Unit for preparation and delivery of this event. And finally, thanks to all participants who stayed to the end of this event. And we wish you all the best and see you at the next event. There is those who speak Spanish. There is one more event starting at 5 p.m. Central European time in Spanish.